Yo, welcome back, everyone. It's your boy Keezy,
Your boy KJ.
and today we've got some interesting things to talk about. We got three topics, specifically three movies. But before we get into this, y'all know what to do. Go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, click that like button if you end up enjoying this. And if you like seeing, hearing podcasts or seeing these types of reviews, go ahead and comment below your thoughts on any of these movies if you have seen them. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. But yeah, you guys can follow our social links, by the way, which are placed right below us, or you can follow the official double feature page. And if you'd like to send us questions for us to answer during the podcast, obviously the link is down below on the screen. But other than that, we're gonna get into this first topic. Three movies came out recently. I want to say within the last month. And the first one we're going to talk about is Transformers Rise of the Beast. It recently released in theaters. And I don't know if you guys were excited for this or not, but we're going to go ahead and give our thoughts. But I'm going to go ahead and hand this one off to my brother to hear his thoughts first, considering he was very excited.
Spoilers.
Is there any spoilers really for Transformers? Is there any?
I mean, actually, yeah, there are, but I'm just letting it be known.
All right, what were your thoughts, though? I know you were excited for this, so.
Peak of the Beast, man. That's simply what it is. I mean, as soon as I knew the fucking Maximals were gonna be in the movie, I was signed on right away. Then you add Anthony Ramos and Dominique Fishback. I think her name is Dominique Fishback. You add both of them to the mix. Yeah, fuck the humans, but yeah, it is what it is. You gotta have somebody running around with the MacGuffin or something. Plus, they're on Earth. You're gonna I'm gonna be honest. Having Transformers always set on Earth is always gonna make that happen. It's always gonna have some kind of human existence and woven into the movie. But yeah, I mean, I think the movie I actually enjoyed myself. I'm not going to say it's the greatest piece of cinema of all time. I'm not even going to say it's the greatest Transformers movie of all time. As of right now, after watch, I haven't watched it twice. So my thoughts could change. But as of right now, after first watch, I still think it's not better than Transformers 2007 and Bumblebee. But it was a damn good Transformers movie, and I enjoyed myself. And I'm happy as a Transformers fan that we got a good Transformers movie. Because more times than not, we're getting fucking ass. And then we're supposed to eat it. But Optimus Prime, this is the greatest he's ever been. I'm sorry.
What?
You can fight me, bro. I'm talking
hot
about live
take.
fucking
yeah,
this
that's
is
a
the
flaming
greatest
take.
He's been. I don't care, bro. You can fight me. I will beat the dog shit out of you, bro. Because here's the thing. They gave my boy a nice character. They gave my boy a nice arc. He has little arcs here and there in the Bay films, but it's not enough for you to watch the movie and be affected by the arc. I was affected by Prime's arc in this movie. I was brought to tears by Prime's arc in this movie.
The hypocrisy is insane.
I mean, hey, say what you want. Having Peter Cullen get that kind of shine in a Transformers movie is dope, and it's what it should be.
He gets shine in every Transformers movie, even the one that wasn't about the Transformers.
This isn't just Autobot shine or Prime
I guess.
niggas ass
I
shine.
guess,
This is a different kind of shine. It's an attention to Prime. It's I don't know. I love what they did with him and Noah's story. How it was Noah was Prime was kind of on the fence as far as the humans go. Cause it's couple years after, how many years after Bumblebee?
Maybe 4, something
5?
like that.
Yeah, 4 or 5. So yeah, he also, they don't even explain how he got to Earth. Would have been great. That would have been great how him and the other Autobots got to Earth. But yeah, he had just gotten to Earth and whatnot, and he's feeling kind of iffy about the humans, and Noah's kind of dog, you can't even protect your own fucking planet, so why are you trying to grill me? Come on, bro. And it kind of goes into this I don't know what, I wouldn't say the plot, but it just goes into this whole sequence that's in Peru and stuff, and it's given so much character to Prime, and at the same time, showcasing the Maximals for the first time, showcasing Primal, showcasing Air um, but yeah, I think what they did with Prime and Noah's relationship and how Noah kind of further affected Prime and how he felt about humans, and even how Primal was like talking to him about, you know, humanity and how like they entrust them to guard them, like some of their belongings and stuff like that, and it opens up Prime's eyes again. Say what you want, I don't care, man. I was brought to tears by it because it's a different kind of attention to Prime
Jesus.
that just matters to me. You know what I mean?
Man.
It just matters to me. It does. And also it helps having a character like Noah bounce off of him. Anthony Ramos is Noah in this movie. It's my favorite human character out of all of the Transformers movies.
Negative.
By
I liked
far.
him. I liked
It's
him.
my it's my favorite
Negative
one.
though.
He's my favorite one. He's like, he's got this, I don't know, not like uplifting, but he's kind of got this
Underdogness to him.
yeah, this very like underdog likableness to him that's like,
Yeah,
it's so attachable. It's so attachable. Like right away you feel him. And the stuff with his little brother, it again, that kind of stuff just helps so much. Also, his little relationship with Mirage was also super good. So when you like combine that again, like you're getting a good Transformers movie, you get your Bumblebee moments. Fucking love me some Bumblebee. They're gonna give you your Bumblebee.
He's the best part of this movie.
He keeps saying that. I don't think so. But it was damn good. Like
he got me the most
in the audience,
hype. I'm sorry.
In the audience when the scene came about, I mean, when it was time for Bumblebee to come back, the audience was very on board.
Absolutely. As they should. Like, as they should. He's the best character. He's the best character, period.
And I was just, I mean, yeah, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I see why you could say that, but I just think Prime was, I just think the stuff with Prime is just, it's too good. But yeah, overall, the CGI was great as well. Better than some movies. But yeah, if I had to give it a score out of 10, I would probably give it like a 7.7 or something.
7.7?
Yeah, I like a 7.7 out of 100. Probably give it like an 82, right?
All right.
I liked it. I really did. I think I like where the direction is going to for the Transformers. I mean, you're getting Unicron in there, bro. I'm gonna be honest. When I saw that in the trailer, I was so there. Like, I'm seeing Unicron in live action, and it's done well. It looks well. Like, I'm so there. So the direction these Transformers go, these movies are going. I know the director. I know there's a rumor. I don't know if it's fact or cap,
that he's directing a sequel.
That he's.
I think he confirmed it.
Sequel. Oh, I'm not sure. But
Something
if
like
he does,
that.
I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at it. This movie, I could go. I'm gonna be honest with you. The score of this movie, I could talk for days about the score. What I would suggest is you just go listen to it. It's that good. I don't care what anybody says. It's a Transformers movie. I don't care what anybody says. Fire ass score. I'm talking better than a lot of scores I've heard this year so far. Like, it's better than so many. So yeah, if I was you, I would go check it out. Summer blockbuster in the theater. I would go check it out. It's pretty freaking good too. Again, I could talk all day about the movie. I'm a bit of a Transformers fan, so yeah, I may have a little bit of a bias. I could say that.
He became a fan just like 2 weeks ago. Everyone,
with my expectations and with my criticism,
which is
of the
okay.
movie. So it is what it is. But yeah, Optimus Prime is peak. Bumblebee is peak. Noah Diaz is peak. G.I. fucking Joe is peak. I mean,
damn, this movie's just peak, I guess.
it's just peak fiction. It's unparalleled. It's unparalleled.
I enjoyed my time. I definitely would not watch this again. I think, like, I've already forgotten it. I'm gonna be so real. It's kind of like Fast X. Like, enjoyed it, fun, forgot it already. Like, there's not enough there. And honestly, I think just it's difficult because there's elements that I like about this movie, but there's not much. And the elements that I do like about this movie aren't the best in this movie. And I think that's why I found it being like, it was okay. Because was the music the best in the franchise? No. Was the CGI the best in the franchise? No. Was the performances the best in the franchise? No. Was the story the best in the franchise? No. Was the action the best in the franchise? No. Were they the worst? No. Like, it's kind of in the middle, and I would put Bumblebee like way above this. Transformers 1 way above this. By the way, Optimus Prime is the best in that movie, okay? I don't care. That last speech in 1 clears anything he did in this movie still.
He has a speech in this movie.
It ain't.
Fire. It's behind the same score.
It ain't 2007.
I got goosebumps.
It ain't 2007 speech.
I don't got goosebumps. But shit, I would if it was playing on my screen right now.
I'm not gonna say like it was bad or anything. I just found it to be like very like, no, it's all right. Would I like tell someone you gotta go to a theater for this one? No, I'm gonna just be honest. Like, it's obviously it's a Transformers movie, but I think what the Michael Bay movies did really well is like you felt the scale, and in this movie I really did not. And I think I just didn't. It felt all kind of flat. I don't know. The look of the movie, even like visually, it wasn't really that interesting ever.
I don't know if it's because it wasn't filmed in IMAX or whatever. I did feel the scale, not to the level of the Michael Bay films, not near that level. I felt the scale, but I only felt the scale to be like a bit bigger than like Bumblebee. I don't know if that's because like
Bumblebee's meant to kind of feel small
IMAX or something, but like I feel like that shouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, I do feel like it was a much bigger scale than Bumblebee. I mean, that third act.
What do you mean you feel it is? It is a much bigger scale movie than Bumblebee. Bumblebee is literally a small scaled movie.
I'm talking about in terms of the filming. Like,
oh, I disagree. I thought the filming in Rise of the Beast was pretty like. I'm not gonna lie. I do thoroughly enjoy what Stephen Caple Jr. has done so far, but I do think he's learning still, and you could tell I like that.
This is his first movie really experimenting with VFX, and he's
definitely
experimenting. I mean,
right.
You're getting a VFX heavy film, like
for
it's
sure.
Not like a little bit of VFX here. No, it's heavy VFX in this film. So
I thought
I like where it's going, man. I like where it's going.
I thought Anthony Ramos was all right. I didn't think I actually don't even think he's like, honestly, I'm putting Charlie and Sam Witwicky over him. But I liked him. I like his like underdog thing. His little brother, by the way, was really good in this movie. Like, a great child actor performance, by the way. Like, actually, obviously, I do think.
Oh, by the way, loved Pete Davidson's Mirage. Mirage is gonna win the younger audience. Like,
definitely.
It's gonna be their Bumblebee if he.
That's possible. That's very possible.
I think Mirage could be that for this younger audience.
I think this movie does suffer from some of the Bayisms. One of those being dialogue. This movie has pretty bad dialogue, obviously.
At points.
That's most of the Transformers franchise, though, to be so like literally everything besides like Bumblebee.
The franchise is set in the 80s, 90s, so
it is, but like Bumblebee isn't really like that.
But there is some of the cheesy dialogue.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes your nipple hairs rise. That's what I'm here for.
I think it definitely has like moments, but I'm gonna just be honest, very few. Like, there wasn't many moments where I was just like.
No, I can agree with that. I could say maybe there's like 3.
I do think for sure it definitely peaks in the third act, which is good. I love a movie that really peaks in the third act. But I just found it
more satisfying what you've watched up to that.
I found it to be just
more fulfilling.
An okay Transformers movie, and don't take that as a bad thing. I think we're in the right direction. If anything, this was better than a lot of Transformers movies. But I don't know. Kind of forgettable. The score was pretty good. I like the soundtrack more than the score in here, though. The soundtrack was pretty gas.
Really?
Yeah. I messed with the soundtrack.
I think the soundtrack a lot. I mean, this score, I've had it on repeat lately. We know. so good.
We do.
If you're a deep cut Transformers fan, and you've watched all the movies and you've seen everything, man, I think this movie is gonna hit a bit different for you. I mean, again, that score is really good. It really brings in some weight and some of that gravitas epicness that was kind of missing from like
I
Bumblebee.
mean, the best scene in this movie, musically, literally comes from the soundtrack. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. That's the most hype I got for this movie was when a
But not
specific song
necessarily.
plays.
Not necessarily.
N-
I
It
know
was
what you mean though.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
I know what you mean. Well, I
yeah,
don't know why we're acting like we can't spoil it. On My Soul. I know what you mean. You're talking about On My
yeah,
Soul.
yeah,
That
yeah.
song though, it hasn't released the the movie version because again, that was part of that was score. That was not the soundtrack song.
Why
Like
would
it was the
that's
song
weird?
from the soundtrack, but reworked for a score.
Oh
Like
yeah,
reworked
yeah, yeah.
to be a score.
I thought that was like the best scene, or like the
Which
most
I
hype.
need that shit
The
to
most
drop.
hype.
Like now, cause that's like one of my favorite. That's like my favorite scene out of that
Yeah,
entire
I
movie.
think
It's so good.
overall it was like I definitely ate up my popcorn. Like it was a nice ride, but it's not. I don't think it's gonna like stick with me in any way. I'm gonna be so like it was all right. I don't know if I had to give it out of 10, maybe like a 6.7, 6.8. If I had to
Yeah.
give it out of 100, maybe like a 72, 73.
Okay.
It was all right. I mean, if you're a Transformers fan, definitely go check it out. I would say like it's very much a Transformers movie. It's actually I would say it does kind of the better job, specifically with how they bring the humans in, especially in the third act. I like how they gave him like the suit, makes him a lot more useful than the previous kind of humans
So fucking dope.
in the previous movies.
So
But
dope. It was
it
awesome.
suffers from the Transformers stuff, but it also is elevated by some of the Transformers stuff that we've seen in like the Bay movies and the Bumblebee movies. So I don't know. Go check it out, whether that's in theaters or not. And be sure to leave your comments below, or if you have seen it, be sure to place in the comments below your thoughts on Transformers Rise of the Beasts. But now we are moving into the second topic, and this is a big one. This is a big one, everyone. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse just released. And a spoiler warning, we will be talking spoilers. So if you have not seen this movie, I don't even know why I got to say this, but go see this
I'm
movie.
gonna be honest with you. If you haven't watched this movie, I don't even like you. Like I'm just gonna be honest with you. We're not
I'm not gonna go that far. I'm not
on the
really
same
there.
page at all.
But if you guys do want to see a non-spoiler review, I do have one up on the channel right now. You guys can go watch that. But I don't even know where to start. This movie is crazy. It's actually insane.
It's jam fucking packed, dude.
I mean, I guess we can start with just kind of the story of the movie about this, which is actually quite similar to the movie we're going to talk about after this. But it's mainly about Miles kind of doing something that goes against what supposedly makes a Spider-Man, right? What is canon? These events that are supposed to happen for you to become Spider-Man. And not only does he defy those rules by him obviously not even supposed to be being bitten in the first place, but he also defies them because someone's supposed to die, and that's supposed to be his dad, and he's not willing to let his dad die just to be Spider-Man because he believes that's not necessary. What did you think about this whole plot line? Like, how compelling was it? How do you think they executed it, especially with like the other Spider people? What were your thoughts on that?
Peak fiction. Fire. Dog. I was like so mad. Like I'm not gonna lie. The trailers kind of like hinted at it, but I'm gonna be so honest with you. I was not paying attention. I do not be paying attention to trailers, number one, like that, and number two, the dialogue that's said in like trailers and shit. So I wasn't like really, and I didn't think they would actually go that route. Like I didn't think it would be like you either save your dad or you save the universe or whatever, right? I didn't think they would go that route. But the way they go about doing it it's insane. I mean, and it's such a compelling storyline. It has that like Flashpoint feel to it, like in terms of the storyline and like how emotional and like how in depth it is. Like I liked it. It was really good. It was yeah, it was good. I mean, why did you have a problem with it?
I definitely liked it. I mean, some of the execution was a bit weird because I thought while everything lined up perfectly like correct, I actually like where it leads the movie off. Like but
Yeah.
I do think my one gripe revolving around this story is the fact that all these spider people in the Spider Society go against Miles. And I'm just going to be honest, I do not believe for a second that every one of these people would go against Miles. Number one, I damn sure don't believe Gwen would. Like that, especially with where her character
I
ends
didn't even know
up.
what she was doing. She was kind of just like at a point she was kind of just like tag alonging
I mean,
to see Miles grieve about like what's about to happen. But like
that, and especially, I think Peter B. Parker was one that really
yeah,
I
that
did
kind
not
of
sit
made
well
me
with.
yeah.
I'm gonna be
That kind of
honest, because his whole character arc in the first movie was kind of learning from Miles and learning
yeah.
something new. Like not everything's like supposed to be the way it is. Like maybe you can make your life better. Maybe you can change. In in here, he kind of just follows the rules.
Yeah.
But then he has like a moment with Miles. It's very interesting what they do with his character. I do hope that like, not that they're gonna fix his character. I don't think there's anything wrong with his character, but I just thought some of that stuff, like that was the only issue I had was,
No,
you
yeah,
know,
100%. Yeah.
I definitely would. It would have been better if like, maybe Miguel had a bit more Spider people to conflict with. They were going
Yeah.
with Spider-Man. It was very difficult for
Like
me.
even Spider Punk, like Spider Punk was kind of going against the grain, but it's like, then why are you here?
Right.
Like, why are you in the Spider Society?
Yeah,
Like,
I
why?
don't think I don't know if he
That
knew, but apparently he did. It was odd
yeah.
choice.
Some of the execution was a little shoddy, but again, these are nitpicks, little gripes, and that's about
Yeah.
like it. Like that's about where it ends.
I think um I don't even know if I have to say this, but this is the best animation I've ever seen in anything.
The animation is like it's weird because it's very stimulating, even overstimulating at times. Like it's just like you're just like getting brain fucked by all this animation, but it's so impressive. At least to me, I know the casual audience and stuff aren't going to be watching the movie and being like, "Oh my god, this animation is
I
just
know,
so
yeah.
outstanding."
That's true,
But
that's true.
but like, dude, I mean, it's so impressive, and when you can see that for the entire 2.5 hours of the movie and watch it even get better as the movie progresses,
And
like,
watch people in live action blend
dude,
into it.
when you
Watch
see
different
that, it's like,
styles. Like, dude, I want to know how they did the paint style on in Gwen Stacy's world. How did they, or even like at the beginning of the movie when like they're showing Miles's, his origin or whatever in the paint style.
yeah,
How did they do that? Did they paint over each frame, or did they make a painted CGI mod? Like I genuinely
I don't
don't
even bother
know.
with like finding out how they do this shit because it's just like,
I think honestly it's magic.
yeah,
I think they just put it in an easy bake
they
oven
get
and it comes
David
out insane.
Blaine to come in there and do
Maybe.
whatever the fuck he has to do, and ta-da! Like
Maybe.
I
I
swear,
thought there was two things that stood out in this movie that made it as great as it is. Animation obviously being one of them, and I want to talk
the
about the score.
soundtrack
The
for
soundtrack and the score of this movie. I think the soundtrack, in terms, I do think the soundtrack is better than the first, but in terms of how it's used in the movie, I do like the first over the second in terms of how the soundtrack is used, but the score is on a whole other level compared to the first movie. I love
score
the
is
first
like,
movie,
but
but
dude, I remember
the score is so
first time I
cinematic.
watched it, the score was so fucking bone chilling.
It's
Dog.
just
Like,
it's big, it's cinematic, it's epic, it's
crazy.
grand, it's so many things.
I remember I
And
even tweeted out, I was like, or I think I told one of my friends this or something. I was just like, this movie just should not be this cinematic it should not be this cinematic.
Yeah, it's
Like I
kind of
have not seen
insane.
there's because you have the animation movies that look cinematic that are meant to be cinematic.
Right.
Across the Spider-Verse doesn't seem like it's meant to be cinematic. Like it seems like
I get
it's
what you're
just meant to
saying.
be this wild animation that's like just amazing to watch and stuff like that. Like it doesn't seem like it's trying to be like that.
Yes.
But like you get like a cinematic like a fucking like you're watching like Dune or some shit. Like it's like
Definitely. I will say
like
it
what?
like Into the Spider-Verse has a very personal feeling to it, and it does, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't really feel cinematic. It feels kind of like, how do I explain this in the best way possible? It feels like a Saturday morning cartoon that's like so incredibly written
Yeah.
with a much bigger budget. This movie, Across the Spider-Verse, feels like a movie, like a cinematic live action
like a
movie,
big budget,
like a $300 million
yeah.
epic sci-fi film, just animated. Like, and it feels like with the highest form of animation techniques, with the most animators, the most impressive animation.
Just that intro
Like,
with Gwen, like is just
it's
oh
amazing. Like, the
God,
music in here
bro.
left me speechless. The voice acting also is incredible. And this
There's
movie,
just
although
scenes in here that are just like you would want to rewatch the scenes just for the
ju-
music. Like
you exactly that entire ending, that's the I would rewatch the whole movie just to get the ending, just to get that score. It's insane.
no.
It's just, oh man,
On some Tron shit, I'm like,
when he's fighting Miguel, the
mm.
score there, like, it's just all so great. But the voice acting in here is great, like I said. But one thing, and I will say, I do think the first movie does this a bit better, but I didn't expect it to be as good as it was in here. Was the comedy? Like, it was actually pretty funny.
Comedy is so
Like,
peak in these
it
fucking
was so
movies,
good
dude.
when it
It's
was
so
used.
maybe get off the kid's ass.
Maybe
Bro,
get off the kids.
whole theater crying. I'm like, God,
As someone who hasn't put much skin in the game, it's so good. Like, it's so good. The comedy here was great. I know Shamik Moore is getting a lot of flack on social media right now. And
Bro's Riz game is impeccable.
as much of a
Crazy.
clown as he'll be in the real world, I will say he voices a damn good Spider-Man.
That man is a fucking
He is a
gift sent
damn
from God as far as
good.
voice acting goes.
Yeah, he's a damn good Miles. I mean, there's some interesting stuff in here. I think we can get into it. I mean, the cameos, right? Well, I mean, yeah, we see Andrew Garfield in here. We see Toby in here. But we see Donald Glover appear as the Prowler. Aaron Davis, of course, which I'm guessing is from the MCU.
Bruh, I almost fucking fainted.
I'm not gonna lie. This is one of those cameos that's like a deep cut, but like low key. Like, maybe it's not. Like, I feel like even if you didn't know about Donald Glover and kind of his involvement in Spider-Man, you would still cheer. Like, you would literally still be like, yo, just because you're probably like, Childish Gambino's in this. Right.
Suit, dude.
Right. It's insane. And then we get a bunch of other stuff. I think the best scene in this movie is the canon events scene. I think this scene is the music in here, the way it's broken down, the dialogue, the conflicts between the characters, everything that you see in this sequence is it's bone chilling. Just thinking about like how it starts. What is this? Everything. And it just starts and it's like the whole web. It's so sick. Like, just the visualizations
Somehow
of
the
this.
camera and the filmmaking of that scene, it's like the camera itself, like, wants to know or doesn't know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the way that scene is filmed. Like, yeah, Miles is questioning shit. And he's like, "What's going on? Like, really?" Like, but the way that it's filmed and how the camera movement and stuff, even like the camera itself seems like it's like confused and stuff. I don't know. That shit.
No, I loved it. Yeah, that scene particularly, like, don't get me wrong. I thought, in comparison to the first movie, I do think this movie has pacing issues, particularly in the first half. I think it takes a while to get going.
It's a lot of not exposition, but just character development. It's a lot
that
of
and kind of catching back up, like letting you rest a little before we get into these insane shenanigans. But once the rooftop scene ends and he goes to follow Gwen, that's when the movie just completely kicks and it does not stop. Like, it is just not. He goes to Moonbatten, they get taken by the Spider Society. He goes and meets the Spider. It's just, soon as he leaves the rooftop, gas. Yeah, it's just. Yeah, right after the rooftop scene, that's when it really completely elevates. And what were your favorite characters in this movie? I would say maybe you can rank them because there's really only like a couple main.
My boy Miles, right? Lace. I think an underrated character that I fucking loved in this movie was Jeff, his dad. I fucking loved him in this movie. I don't know why.
He was funny as hell in this movie.
Funny as shit in this movie. Love the Spot. He wasn't given an ample amount of screen time, but loved his presence. Again, I love just about everybody in this movie. Gwen, of course. Gwen was like a standout. Like, honestly, I'm gonna be real. After the intro, I was like so like into Gwen. Like, I was like low key when it switched back to Miles. It was like crazy whiplash for me. I was like. Like, I forgot this was a Miles Morales movie. Like, low key. I was like, bro. So I really loved her. Miguel O'Hara. I don't know if he's. I don't know what's wrong with him. Something's wrong with him.
He was a menace.
Yeah, something's wrong with him. But yeah, I mean, I love just about every character. Mayday.
Loved Mayday. I would love a spin-off. Imagine like a spin-off of her like grown up.
Personally, my favorite, Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk was peak. Right? He was. His animation was peak. His voice acting was peak. His design was peak.
Amazing.
Peak. Spider-Man India was dope. I love the
so
voice
dope
actor too. Dopender from Deadpool and shit. So dope. Yeah. I liked everybody in this movie. I didn't have a problem. Oh, and Miles' mom. Gotta shout out Miles' mom. She bad as fuck, and she was good as fuck in this movie.
Facts. My canon event is definitely to steal her from Miles. But I will say, my low-key, I might have after rewatching that movie, we've seen it twice. So after rewatching that movie, I low-key like Spider-Man India like a lot. Like, I think his design is insane.
Fun.
Number one, his design is insane.
I remember as soon as I saw it, I immediately tweeted out. I was like one of the. I was like one of the first things to tweet. I tweeted out. I was like, they just crafted a better Spider-Man India design than the fucking comics.
And I will say, I love the comics design, but this design was. I love how he uses the bangle or the yo-yo. I don't know what it is exactly.
So dope.
But it's so sick. The way he moves very geometric. Like, everything that he does is very like, I love him. And I love Spider-Punk, of course. I mean, every character in here. I think the Spot is a menace. I think the Spot was low-key. Like, at first you're like, look at this dude. And by the end of the movie, you're like, oh.
Like, at the same time, my boy, like, calm down, bro. Like, I mean, I was just like a little teenager, bro. Like, calm down.
I mean, but if you get hit with a bagel, I mean,
that is
my villain origin. My villain origin would start if I got hit with a bagel personally. But I thought this movie was amazing. If you seriously are listening to this and you have not seen the movie, which is crazy,
go watch the movie.
Go watch it. The way this movie ends.
2 a.m. for us. Go watch it somewhere.
Go watch it. So, wherever you are. I think the way this movie ends, though, is probably the craziest part because I expected it to end on a cliffhanger, but this genuinely feels like half a story. It's crazy.
Dude, I'm going to be honest. When this movie ended, bro, I was dumbfounded. I was sitting in my chair and I was just like, I couldn't breathe. I
Infinity
was
War
like,
all over again. Like,
I was like,
I gotta wait a year. I gotta wait a year. That's literally how it felt. It literally
you
felt
can't
like
do this to me.
you're so
like,
dumb.
like Green Goblin in this video, bro. Like,
Yeah, the way it ends
for
is,
real.
and I love the new band that they've made because don't get me wrong, I love the first group of characters. You know, you had Noir. When Noir was at the end, by the way, I got so hype. I was like, yo, I was like, yo,
Wind blowing.
I like the team that they had in the last movie. What was it? Peter B. Parker, Gwen, Noir, Penny, Spider-Ham, and Miles. I think that's about it. But obviously added to them is Spider-Punk and Spider-Man India, and I think that's it, right? And I just love that group. I can't wait to see I can't wait to see Spider-Man Noir back. I'm not gonna lie, like I love him.
I can't wait to see like Spider-Punk in action.
Yeah, low key, because we didn't get to see a lot.
He didn't even web swing or anything.
Yeah, low key. Oh well, he came through with the guitar.
Yeah, I was gonna say all he did.
That's what he does usually, though.
I know, but at the same time, like we haven't seen shit from.
Yeah. I definitely want to see more.
Like my favorite character, man. This shit is so.
The way they use this character for me was so good because obviously, if you don't know, his character in comics is very rebellious. He goes against any political hierarchies. He does not abide by the rules. But what they did in this movie was not only did they use that as a running joke, which was amazing, by the way. I thought it was like so clever to use it as a running joke, but also it leads to like a very important part where Miles kind of escapes the entire Spider Society. And I just think like his involvement was pitch perfect. Like
it's like
absolutely perfect.
They used his characterization for laughs and like for the story, and it's like the most genius shit I've ever. I mean it's so Jesus. It's so genius.
It is. Phil Lord and Chris Miller are definitely some angels. Can't wait for Beyond though. If you guys haven't seen this movie, yes,
if I
you
had
guys
to give it a rating out of 10, 9.5.
9.5.
9.5.
What about
out
percentage?
Of 100. I mean, yeah, out of like a percentage out of 100. 93.
93. If I had to give it out of 10, 9.8. I don't care. I'm a Spidey fan. 9.8 out of 10 or out of 10. And then a percentage, I gave mine already. It was a 98. That might dip or raise depending on how Beyond the Spider-Verse is. But yeah, I would say it's there. Like it's up there with Into and No Way Home. It's like
that bitch
there.
Is up there with The Dark Knight.
Yeah, for sure. It is like, I mean, it's for me, it's my favorite comic movie right now. It's my favorite. Ridiculous. It's insane. But yeah, you guys give us
comic book movie trilogy.
Give us your thoughts on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in the comments below. Moving on to the next topic and the last topic, we just saw The Flash. The Flash finally released in theaters, and we're gonna give our thoughts now. We have very opposing opinions. No spoilers.
Half of you out there have probably watched the whole movie, right?
Not the whole movie, but seen the spoilers
on your phone. Yeah.
But we have very opposing opinions on this movie, so I'm gonna let you get your stuff out.
Yeah, the draft projections were correct. You know, they were correct. They couldn't rig the lottery this time. You know, let's just say that they couldn't do it. So basically what had happened was I saw the trailers and I thought it looked like shit, and then I watched the movie and it was just as shit, if not more. So yeah, just going right into it, I am not a fan of this movie. This movie isn't bad. I'm overdoing it. This movie is not bad. Like bad.
You just called it shit.
I know. That's why I said I just overdid it. I just overdid it. But yeah, it's not bad to me. There are some bad superhero movies. Again, Green Lantern 2011. I would even go as far as to say Shazam 2 felt bad to me, and The Flash didn't feel like nearly as bad as Shazam 2. But it's not good. It's not great. It's not even good. It's very kind of average to kind of. I don't think I'll finish the movie. Like it's. I don't know. Me personally, I couldn't get past the dodgy effects in this movie.
Oh
I from
man.
the
Oh
trailer,
boo.
I thought the visual effects were gonna be ass. I thought it was gonna be ass. But the thing is, the trailers weren't like, you got some ass shots, but you got mainly, some of the cinematography, some of the more live action stuff that aren't, using heavy visual effects. And not that I thought the CGI was gonna be better, I just didn't think it was gonna be this much worse. And I don't think it's a matter of it being worse. I think it's just a matter of me seeing more of it. It's just like it's so hard to get past, man. It's so bad. I won't even say it's like a decent visual effects. It's bad. Like, I'm serious. There's some stuff. I mean, there's stuff in Bollywood films that look much better than the stuff in the Flash. Um, I it was a big deal breaker for me. Not even gonna lie to you. Like, it
Aww.
was. It was taking me out of the movie, like literally. And when you have a lot
Oh
of that shitty
man.
visual effects, it's gonna take me out of the movie
It
a
took you
lot.
out of the movie?
It took me out of the movie, man. It
Oh
did.
man. That's
But
tough.
yeah, with that aside, the storyline of the movie, yeah, it's decent. It's better than most comic book movies because it's just a better storyline, right? The Flashpoint storyline is just a good story, and I,
It's not exactly the
Keezy,
Flashpoint
you can
storyline,
attest to
but sure, the
Keezy,
core of it.
you can attest to this shit. I was telling Keezy for the longest, there is no way they can fuck up this storyline because it's just too good. It's such
It's
a good
not really
storyline. It's
identical though.
impossible.
It's not
It's not identical.
identical.
It's a
The
little
core of it
identical.
is the same, but like
It's That's what I
everything
mean
else is
though.
not
That's what I'm talking
identical.
about. The
Like
core of that storyline is it's again, it's like the way Across the Spider Verse just crafted like one of the best, if not the best, Spider-Man storyline. It's like that. Like that's what the Flash did, and it was because the core of that Spider-Man storyline and that core of that Flashpoint Paradox storyline is just it's too good. You can't fuck it up. Not any Joss Whedon could not fuck that up. Like
somehow
it's
Josh Whedon
so
got into this.
no,
Jesus.
because I'm just saying like trash. He can't fuck. You know what I'm saying. But yeah, I didn't think the story was gonna be messed up, but the story is it's serviceable. It's better than most comic movies because of that. Because you have that core
So
of the story that
it was because it was kind of like because you couldn't fuck it up. That means like you can't love it.
no, I'm not
I don't
saying
think you
that.
should be docking points because they executed it good.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that like I couldn't see anybody fucking this up and they didn't.
Oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? I'm not saying that's why it's bad.
So the
No,
storyline
I'm
was
saying
great.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. The
Okay.
storyline was good. It was better than most comic movies because again, like you're working off of like some really good material. Like you're working off
That's
some
true.
really good shit. Um uh as far as the details of the storyline, you could get into plot hole territory. I don't think about this movie enough to think about it, but I mean, there are probably some plot holes. I mean, off the top of my head, I could think of a couple with General Zod, and I could think of some with Supergirl, even
No,
some
you
with.
think you're thinking those aren't plot holes, man. Those are literally
I feel like those are inconsistencies and some plot holes. Even some of the stuff with Barry, I thought was kind of shaky, but again, it wasn't enough to make this storyline miss. It's a good storyline, and especially for the casual who just got done seeing Black Adam and Shazam and Ant-Man, like that storyline it's gonna resonate for the casual. Like it's gonna resonate. Some of the diehards even.
I think honestly
Um,
it'll resonate with most audiences, and I'm not saying it's a better movie, but that storyline will resonate more with audiences than Guardians of the Galaxy 3's storyline.
I think what killed me is the. It's honestly shocking to me how fast this movie goes, like in terms of its directing, and
Mm-hmm.
how slow this movie feels.
Oh,
Like
that's so fitting.
not it's kind of hard to explain.
I know
Basically
exactly
it
what
felt
you
like I
mean.
watched a 3 hour movie that was just moving fast the whole time.
Well, yeah, the cut is 4 hours. I'm pretty sure that's
That's
what the
what it
original
felt like.
cut
I was
was.
watching a 3 hour movie that was just moving along like swiftly the entire time, like not a break or anything. I wasn't a fan of the pacing. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I love the It movies, I was not a fan of the directing of this movie, like whatsoever.
Wow, not
I'm
even
gonna.
like the performances.
I even. That's what I mean. Is
Oh wow.
that I see everybody praising Ezra Miller's performance. Was it bad? Not by any stretch of the means. I mean, for what he had to do to make that work, to make the double work, is kind of hard. But at the same time, you have to know how to direct your characters, right? And one of the berries, obviously the younger one, was annoying as fuck,
Mm-hmm.
and that was probably intentional. But again, as a
No, it
director,
was. What do you mean? Probably. That was
no,
the
no, I'm
point.
saying no. Obviously, it was intentional, but I'm saying as a director, like if you're supposed to direct your characters, like I don't understand how you don't just like no. I'm sorry, the 18-year-old just doesn't act like the way he acts in this movie. It's not that doesn't exist anymore. I'm sorry, like, and then even Barry, even some of the stuff our Barry does, I'm like, dude, really? Like,
Well, that's carried over by the previous.
and then you got some of the stuff with Batman, and it's like, bro, like, what
One
what are you
scene. You got
doing?
one scene. You got
What are
one
you
scene.
doing?
Just say
Like,
the one
it's like,
scene that you didn't like.
no, there's a couple. There's some with Keaton
Mm,
and Affleck.
Keaton. Keaton was
Yeah,
literally pitch perfect in this movie. Like,
I did not. I did not. I thought he was the
wow.
best part about this movie, but I did not. I
No,
did
I
not
gotta
think he was
disagree.
pitch
But
perfect. Um,
so
yeah,
wait,
I
what
don't think. Yeah, I didn't like.
DCEU?
I
What
didn't like the.
performances would you put over this in the
I would
DCEU?
put so many performances over this. I would
Over
put.
Ezra's?
Yeah, I would put. I would
Oh.
honestly. Yeah, I would
Wow.
put. Let me think of the broader DCEU, the entirety. Like, are you counting like even like the Suicide Squad and shit?
Why'd you just look at the camera like that's not part of the DCEU?
No, I'm
Like,
saying,
what
are
the
you
hell?
counting it though? 'Cause I'm like,
No, I don't count the Suicide Squad as a part of the DCEU.
no, do you count it if I'm saying it? Because I know how you could be if I'm just like, oh, um, blood sports. And you'd be like, what? That's I don't know.
I mean, it's
But
your
yeah, I think
opinion.
Ben Affleck's Batman, Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor, Ray Fisher's Cyborg, um, um, Russell Crowe's Jor-El. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I think there's a lot of
Jeez.
that are better than Ezra's. I think Ezra did more, but I don't think his performances were there, and I think that's because of the directing. Andy Muschietti was just not cooking with this one. And watching this in IMAX, I don't know if it's only in IMAX because again, I tried to look up on YouTube any standard format like widescreen, like 2:3 freaking ratio videos or clips from the Flash, and all of it was in IMAX. All of it was in like either 1.85 or 190. I think it's 190. All of it was in like 190 IMAX, 1.9 IMAX. And I'm just like, I'm watching this movie going like, I know this would look dog shit in standard format. Because I'm like,
Have you
this is in
watched it in standard
IMAX?
format?
No. But
Oh,
I
okay.
just know because I'm watching it in IMAX and I'm like, number one, this is in IMAX. It's filmed so close for some reason.
I love that. It
It's
feels
filmed
very, yeah, I love that.
like
It's very like,
like dog on my dick, like so close to the screen in some scenes, and it's like it doesn't even have to be that way. And then at the same time, you have a lot of scenes that are filmed with like characters' heads and stuff at the very tippy top of the screen, and it's like, bro, this is in IMAX. If this was cut in standard format, you'd be showing like this character's fucking eyebrows and like some of their fucking neck. Like it's like I don't know. There were some parts where I was just like, I don't. This is any movie. I don't know. I think it's his first time using IMAX cameras, but I was just like, I
I
don't
don't
know if he
know.
knows what he's doing. I tried to quickly
Hmm.
like look at some standard format clips. I couldn't find any. But if anybody can prove me wrong and show me a clip and be like, no, this looks fine in standard format, I'm sure there are a bunch of scenes that will, but I don't think it will look like it won't be serviceable in standard format. There's a lot of the multiverse stuff in this movie that plays a lot in the top of the screen and like at the bottom even sometimes, and it's like if you cut out a lot of that, it's like you're missing a lot. So again, I think there was some problems with the directing of this film. It felt very like stitched together in the shittiest way possible. Like, and some of the writing choices in this movie were downright like I don't know how, but they were generic as fuck. Like
Wait,
some of
like
the
what?
some of the like there's a whole sequence with obviously the two berries, and it's like a 30 dude, I swear to God, it's like a 20 to 30 minute long sequence of them just like throwing quips at each other and doing goofy shit, and it's the most like
What? Wait, where?
generic like
Could you name like without giving spoilers? Like give a
without giving
hint.
spoilers, there's a scene where everybody is high.
Did you just say 20, 30 minutes?
No, not
What?
just that one. I'm saying that's like
Uh,
one of the parts where I'm just like, dog, like this is very like it's generic. Like this is very like
generic. Wow, like, I
yeah. There's
haven't
some
seen
generic.
that in a
The
superhero
needle
movie
drops in
though.
this movie and
I mean, I'm
shit,
gonna
and
just be honest. Like,
the
I have
needle
not
drop
seen that, but that's
the
okay.
needle drops and score in this movie feel generic. Like I'm like, this is just.
Can't believe you're calling this movie generic.
I'm not
Remember,
calling
we
the movie
just
generic.
we just watched
I'm not.
Transformers: Rise of the Beasts.
Yeah, I'm not calling the movie.
Like
No,
we
I'm
just
not
watched
calling the
that movie.
generic.
By the
If
way,
anything, the movie
you just got done. I mean, like,
okay. I'm not calling the movie generic. I'm saying there are generic aspects of the movie that I think you're overlooking.
it's hard
on
for me to
purpose.
think of.
I think you're going. The humor in this is good, and you said the same thing about Shazam and Love and Thunder and Black Adam, and then the other movie. And
I
then the other
never
movie.
have praised the humor in Thor: Love and
That's
Thunder
when it
or
starts
Black
getting
Adam,
in that
and I don't think
generic
Shazam's
area
very
for me.
funny.
I'm not saying it has to be the most serious movie, but what I am saying is make the comedy different. Don't make the comedy a bunch of stupid shit that we've seen in Justice League 2017, and even some even some of the Barry stuff in Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like there's just some stuff here that's just like it just doesn't work for me, man. Like
He's just talking about one scene specifically.
no, I'm not.
You are. There's only one scene that like reminds you of 2017's Justice. There's
also,
only one.
I find it funny how like low key in this movie, like our Flash does not save the day. That's not really a spoiler.
That's not what the lesson is, but okay.
But no, I'm not talking about the lesson. I'm just saying I just find that kind of funny.
He does.
I also find it kind of funny that this is a Flash movie with not a single Flash villain, not one even.
Yeah, that's kind of
cameo. I think there's like a fucking sliver of a Boomerang cameo from Suicide Squad, but I'm not sure if that's
is there.
Or not. I saw something where it was
what
like
the heck,
very little, very faint. I don't know if that's real, but yeah, that's also a problem for me. Also, like, why did this movie have to be this big? Like the stuff with Zod and stuff.
Well, you got to remember, that's kind of what WB wanted always. That's kind of what WB always demanded
and stuff. Like it's got some of those bigger narratives, some of those bigger like story beats, but the movie doesn't feel like this big.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I don't know.
I get what you're
this movie
saying.
had to be this big, man.
Because Warner Brothers demanded it.
I don't know. Sasha Calle's Supergirl was in this movie for like 5 minutes, just making grumpy faces and punching people. Do I ask for more? Not really, because that's exactly what the trailers gave me, and that's what I thought was gonna happen. But more would be nice, right? Like more than just saying, or I'm not gonna spoil anything, but more than just having like a very like basic and like super easily like flippable character like traits and stuff like that. Like it's just like very generic, dude. Again,
There's the word
generic. Again, the only like redeeming part of this movie for me was Michael Keaton's Batman, and the only reason is because he just adds another like layer of like depth to the story. He adds another layer of like not only like being a mentor, but like at the same time being that sense of like reality and that sense of like groundness to the movie, because you fucking need it in this movie. Like again, it's not a bad movie, but
give your scores.
It's just not good. And I'm not gonna lie, I am very disappointed.
Okay, give your scores.
In, like the critique of this movie and how critics treated this movie, but how like any.
What do you mean? It has a 67 on Rotten Tomatoes.
No,
What do you mean?
That's okay. That's great. I'm not talking about Rotten Tomatoes, but I'm just.
What critics do you?
I'm
look
just
at. Like,
kind of like disappointed and embarrassed that we've gotten to the point where like we get a movie like this, and I'm genuinely watching this movie in theaters yesterday, like baffled. I'm genuinely looking at my uncle, looking around the theater, like, are you looking at what I'm looking at? Like, why? The fact that this was okay to be released is beyond me, and the fact that like
Jesus.
and the fact that it's like not shy of any criticism, but that any criticism against it is taken as like, oh, you're just hating, or oh, you want to go against the grain, is fucking ridiculous to me, dude. This isn't even a top 5 DCEU film, let alone a top 10 DC film. This movie isn't probably going to be a top 10 film this year. Fuck, it might not even be top 3 comic book movie this year. But yeah, I don't know, man. I'm fed up. I'm like, yeah, you gave us the Love and Thunders and stuff, but when you have like a big budget movie that we've been waiting for a decade and stuff like that, and you go through all hell and back as shit with Ezra Miller and all this bullshit to get this movie, like, and it's just like, this is what they give you and you're satisfied. Jeez, man, I can be nothing but embarrassed, not only as a DC fan, but as a movie.
Okay, DC fan. Can you give your review, please, or your rating?
Yeah,
I didn't know you were a DC fan, by the way. That was brand new to me, personally.
My rating out of 10 is gonna be a 6.2. My rating out of 100 is gonna be a 65.
All right, those are his thoughts on the Flash. Apparently, it's just so generic. Remember, Transformers: Rise of the Beast peak.
Peak of the Beast. I did enjoy Rise of the Beast.
Time for me to give my review. I think this movie hits on in a lot of places, and it misses in some places. One of those definitely being the visual effects. I thought the visual effects in here were not good.
They were dog shit. They were laughable.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you said that already. I thought the visual effects weren't very good. Sometimes they were, but for a lot of it, it was like, kind of, it should have been in the oven a bit longer. I wouldn't honestly have minded if this got delayed.
Yeah, they should have definitely either delayed this to later this year or just delayed it a whole year. Because I'm going to be honest with you, this is such a VFX heavy movie. And you can't just be like, oh, we need to fix this. Like, it's just so much VFX that there would be so much to fix. Like,
okay.
It definitely should have been delayed.
I thought what this movie did fantastically in comparison to a lot. My biggest issue with the DCEU was they wanted to make it kind of dark and broody. Don't like that. These are the Justice League. Like, these are DC characters, some of the most bright characters in comics, and I thought what the movie very much nailed was the tone. Sure, some jokes didn't land. Absolutely, I think that's subjective, and that's gonna happen with like most movies that have comedy in them. But I thought the dramatic scenes weren't cut off by any jokes. All the jokes, I can't name one. I literally can't name one.
There was a few.
Name one.
I'm not gonna go into it.
Oh, that sucks. But yeah, there wasn't one to me that literally got cut off. I thought they played with the humor in multiple interesting ways. Like there was one where they're making fun of his run. Amazing. There's one at the beginning of the movie with the title card. Amazing. Like, and I thought, as annoying as the other version of Barry is, obviously that's the point. I even thought like he was funny sometimes. Like, he was just so goofy and dumb. And obviously it makes sense in the context of the movie. He's spoon-fed his life, and that's just why he's so nonchalant about everything. But I thought Ezra Miller gave literally one of the, probably it could be argued as the best performance in the DCEU. I think the only one that could be argued against him is Ray Fisher's Cyborg in Zack Snyder Justice League. That's it, to me at least. To me, that's literally it. I thought, obviously I don't condone what they've done outside of this film and in their personal life, but we're not here to talk about that. What they did in this movie was damn good. Not only acting off of themselves, but also just, you know, the range of of delivering comedic timing to delivering serious scenes to the drama and, you know, having an emotional scene. I thought they did really well. As for the storyline, obviously, like you said, they really couldn't mess it up, and they didn't. I thought the ending of this movie, specifically, like, I'm not going to say any spoilers, but the ending with his mother, like, just, that one got me to tears. I'm not going to lie. Like, that scene was so well done. I think there's some, even though the CGI isn't perfect in this movie, there's some visually interesting things going on in here that I very much appreciate. I loved, like, when he runs it. I think
there definitely is. Like, I think I even told you, I was like, the concept of how they visualized, like, him time traveling, or not time traveling, but like traveling multiverse,
changing time,
changing them,
yeah,
like, traveling through the multiverse. The way they depicted it was cool as hell. It was so, the CGI is just so bad. But I can see, like, what they were going for, and it's
in there. I think it's intentional. In there, it's intentional, and I'm not gonna lie.
Again,
calm down, man.
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 Bet it is intentional. Again, bet it is intentional.
It is.
No, I'm not saying it's not. I'm saying it is. That's fine. What I'm saying is, as a director, you have to make better choices than that. That's
right.
What I mean when I say the directing of this movie could have been better.
I will say, while I do think it was intentional, I like the explanation of it too, about, like, he's going so fast that things visually look different to him. But I do think outside of that, there are moments where the CG, especially in the third act, where the CG really just does not look good. It's nothing that broke the movie for me. Like, I don't think it's like some just, this looks like it was made.
You guys should be thankful for what you got in 2011 with Green Lantern. I'd go as far as to say
no, it's not that. It's not that bad. It doesn't look like that fake, but there are moments where, no, it doesn't. There are moments where the CG isn't perfect. They do some things in here now. Obviously, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but there's stuff in the third act where, you know, the morality of some of the choices they make, I don't condone, obviously. But that literally was maybe 1 minute long. So, like, I'm not gonna be like, the movie was trash because of this, when, like, I'm just not gonna do that. But I think there's a lot that works here. Obviously, like I brought up, there's some visually interesting concepts here. I think Andy Muschietti as a director has directed some of, I'm not saying it's the peak, but some of the best Batman shit I have ever seen. I don't think anything in this movie pairs up with the warehouse scene from Batman vs Superman, but I will say
that comes close though. There's one that comes close, and it's with Keaton's Batman, which threw me off. But I was like, the martial arts in this scene is so fucking.
And what I loved about that specific scene that you're talking about is even though, like, he's doing shit that he probably shouldn't be doing, he's still fighting the way he did in the 89 movie. Like, the way he moves is almost like he's like very still when he punches.
Stop motion. He's very like.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. But even some of the stuff with Batfleck, there's a specific, like, one take that lasts for like 10 seconds of him just on a grappler, and I'm sorry, it was so sick. It was so dope. Obviously there's stuff that just, there's cameos in here even at the start of the movie, but there is stuff after, like, Ben Affleck goes away that still, or after Ben Affleck's done being Batman, that still hits. I think he has a conversation, which is in the trailers, I believe, with Barry, that low-key made me like,
Ben Affleck's Batman or Ben Affleck in this movie is a cameo?
No.
Would you? But you would say, Wonder Woman is.
I don't know how many people knew that, but good spoiler warning. But I don't know. I mean, she was never in the trailers, but
no, you're right.
Well, now y'all know that she's in this movie, but
now you know.
But yeah, there's a conversation that he has with Barry, and I'm not gonna lie, I just loved that conversation. I think not only the actual like parameters of the conversation, that like what they're talking about, not only is that so important to the story, but I just thought them two they never really felt more closer. And also I kind of was like, wait, can you like not go? Actually, like I was kind of like when Barry's like, we can go grab a bite to eat, and he just goes in the car off. I was like, wait, they actually felt kind of like a team. Like they felt like they felt like they've known each other for a while, and I kind of liked that. And once I think the movie really shines in the second act, I literally had a grin on my face. I am not joking. For like 30 minutes of this movie, and it was the second act. And it's obviously when they meet Michael Keaton, but it's now, I'm not going to say it's a standout of this movie because I don't think it is. But there is a moment in this movie, and it is in the second act, where they're pretty much in the Batcave, and during this entire time, pretty much almost, the score was so good to me. Like, it was just shining in the second act. Like, I was smiling just because of the score. And then when like Michael Keaton, obviously, when they like actually get ready to fight, and like he turns on the jets to go like, and they go to get Supergirl, like,
same
just
thing
so
you
good.
said about
It's so
Transformers. The best part of the score in this movie is the score from another movie, which is kind of funny.
No, I'm not talking about the theme. No, I'm not talking about the theme. Although I did like hearing Danny Elfman's theme in here.
A lot of the score in this movie to me felt like
John Williams-y. I liked it. I did admire it. I don't think it was a standout, but there is one moment where it does stand out, and it's when Barry actually goes into the speed. I'm gonna call it the Speed Force to not spoil things, even though he has done it before. But when he kind of goes into it for the first time, quotes, I'm putting asterisks on that. When he does it for the first time, the score there was great. When he actually first starts, loved it. There's the movie was a really it was a good ride from start to finish. Like by the end of the movie, I was like, okay, like this movie, I think this is a good way to put it. This movie has so many good moments, right? As a whole, it's not the best DCEU movie. Obviously, I think most of that is due to apparently this movie was supposed to be 4 hours, and you kind of do feel it. We're jumping from a lot of places very, very quickly, but the moments that we get in when we're jumping to each place is so good, and the emotional beats, like I said, they all hit. I think while it does suffer from the third act, the battle isms. They do some interesting stuff there, even with how they play with time and kind of like events that are supposed to happen. Speaking on Sasha Calle, Supergirl, I loved her. I thought even though she didn't have much to work with, you still felt even though she was intense, you still felt compassion every now and then in her. You still felt that when she's talking about what happened to Kal-El, they were clear, she clearly cared about him, and there was just stuff to her that I was like, she just had a little more. She would have probably ate. I really hope if James Gunn does recast her, I hope it's a phenomenal casting, but I wouldn't be opposed to keeping her. I think that would be a very, very great choice. She was great. Michael Keaton here, amazing. I think the best part of this movie does work with Ezra Miller. I think one of the strongest things in this movie, and actually it got lost towards the third act, and that's why I think the third act was the weakest towards me, was how they, for a movie that's not Flash's first movie, they managed to put a lot of Flash's origin in here. And I think that was so smart because low-key, the Flash's origin isn't as well known as most people would probably think. I don't think it's Batman's father died in the alley, Uncle Ben died. It's not that well known.
I do think most people could guess it though. Definitely,
but I do think lightning, right? But the way they go into kind of, it's so interesting that they used another Barry that's never had powers to kind of tell the origin story. It's really interesting to me. I thought that was very interesting to me. He's learning how to phase. He's like, we get to see how the actual origin, or how he actually gets his powers, and like it was just, those were interesting. That stuff was really strong for me in terms of like the Flash character, but then it just got lost in the third act, and I was just kind of bummed out. It does suffer a little bit. Not as bad, but it does. It's not as bad because of what it does for the story for the Flash character, but it does suffer from like that Wonder Woman 2017 third act villain out of nowhere ism. But I do give it a little more credit because what it does for Barry's character at the end. He learns a specific lesson that I think is the true villain of the movie. Obviously, if we're talking about a physical villain, the one in here, very Wonder Woman 2017 Ares, but the actual villain, I like the lesson that he learns in this movie. Overall, I very much enjoyed it. I mean, my criticisms are definitely like the CGI, the pacing, the editing, and that's really it. Maybe some of the jokes didn't land, of course, and it does suffer from that third act CGI. But I'm really tired of movies doing this, but it does suffer from that. And the villain was really lackluster in here. I thought Zod was also like, even though I didn't expect him to be utilized a lot, I did think he was one note, which, you know,
boy disgusting in this movie.
They didn't nerf anyone. If anything, they made him stronger. If anything, they did. But yeah, I did think just he was very one note in this movie. Not that like I was expecting anything big. I knew he wasn't going to be the main villain in this movie, but you know, we could have used more of him. Yeah, if I had to get a rating on this movie, actually, let me talk about the music for the last. Yeah, the soundtrack in here wasn't really that great. The needle drops, the needle drop in here wasn't that bad. I just couldn't but help to compare it to anything James Gunn has done. And it's like James Gunn is kind of known for that. And like it's way better than like the needle drop in here, but when it does happen, I'm not gonna lie, like I did get hyped, but it wasn't like because of like the song. It was more like the energy of the song. It wasn't like really the use of it. But if I had to give this a rating out of 10, probably like 7.9 to 8.1, somewhere between there. Like it was good, but it was good enough to get the B, but like also like had issues enough to drop it below that. I'll give it an 8 flat. I'll give it an 8 flat. As for out of 100, maybe like an 82, 83. Nothing like substantial, but I would say like this was a damn good time. If I had to put DCEU movies over it, it would be The Suicide Squad, Shazam, Zack Snyder's Justice League, and Man of Steel. And then I would put The Flash there. But it was a good ride. Like aside from the CGI, I thought they did some really interesting stuff. The storyline hit, the emotional beats hit, and all around, as you know, it was marketed as a Batman movie, but this was very much still Barry's story. And I like the way they even explained like the multiverse in here was really creative. Yeah. How the story actually plays out is even creative. Like what Barry does in the end, like it was just interesting elements in here, just bogged down by like multiple unfortunate things. CGI obviously being probably the main contributor. But yeah, those were my thoughts.
I really wonder like what Andy Muschietti's reaction was when he saw like the final product.
I think he liked, obviously his final product was 4 hours long, but like in terms of the theatrical cut, I think I'm like, as a director, like, even if you're like, this is how it has to be, or if it's like, the VFX artist did this, or whatever, like, even if you're like it literally has to release like this, that's fine. But, like, as a director or, like, a filmmaker, like, I don't know how you don't watch that movie. You're just like, a little bit more time in the oven.
Man, we can't.
I mean, if that's what
this right now.
I mean, if that's what literally completely broke the movie for you, I could understand that. Like, because that was probably like that's probably the major criticism.
Breaks the movie for me though, because this is a VFX heavy movie, and a lot of the VFX doesn't look good. That's like watching a comedy with shit comedy. like you're not gonna like you're gonna be like the comedy was a deal breaker for me. Like yeah, like it's like
I will say
I don't
though, in
know.
terms of running, this is the best the Flash looked. But other than that, guy,
highly disagree with that.
I think it's the best. I think it has the
argue with
best
you on that.
running scene we've seen from him. I think so. Why are you making fun of his run like your boy didn't make it? What? I'm so good.
Beautiful. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's like a gazelle. Like a gazelle. What do you have?
Anyways, I hope you guys, or actually, tell us in the comments below if you've seen The Flash at least. Let us know your thoughts. We love this, whether you liked it or not. We love discussing with you guys down there.
Always.
But yeah, guys, that was our review of The Flash. But go down in the comments below and be sure to let us know your thoughts. But that's gonna do it for, I don't even know what episode this is. 7, I think.
Who
maybe
knows?
I don't know, but that's gonna do it.
Fucked up the timelines
for this episode of Double Feature, guys. Go ahead and you guys can follow us. Our social links are below us, and you can follow the official channel over there. But be sure to hit that subscribe. It's free. It's free. Hit that subscribe button. Click that bell.
And to go see
click,
The Flash.
And click that like button.
Subscribe. Come on now, man.
click the subscribe button. Click that bell and click that like button. But yeah, guys, be sure to give us some questions to answer down below, obviously. And other than that, guys, it's been your boy Keezy,
the mighty KJ.
And hopefully we will see you guys in the next one.